Hey everybody, I'm Helen Terry here in the kitchen at Soma Ranch. And we were talking about we were basically bragging about how amazing Irene is on our team. She's the Feldenkrais practitioner and teacher who brings so much wisdom and heart. And she's actually going to be providing a workshop in January on the 14th. It's a Sunday afternoon. And right now it's only $35 if people sign up. And it's about getting nimble and getting more aware of yourself. So part of the description says, as a human with a body of any age, fitness level, or ongoing challenge, you'll build many skills in addition to getting up and getting down more comfortably and efficiently, clarifying your mental map of your skeleton so all your movements can incorporate the teamwork and structure that leads to more effortless and pain-free movement, sensing the delicious in your movements so your brain knows what to look for and how to create it. I could go on the whole description. I'll leave some kind of link so people can read more about it. But for me, I find that Irene is like poetry in motion. I love her words, how they invite me in my own way to explore it. And to be honest, when I came to NIA, when we have those 9 movement forms and we're introduced to that in the white belt, when they said Feldenkrais, I said, huh? I had no idea. And then even as a teacher, I think it took me 2 years to get my mouth around the word to be able to say it correctly. But I love how she's been a complement on our team and how we have our regular Wednesday Feldenkrais classes for 30 minutes. I'm really excited about this workshop in that I think people who have been taking the 30-minute classes, this is where they can go deeper and really understand more about the practice and how they can personalize it. And for any teachers out there, I think this is such a great way for personal development, but also to have more of an understanding of how this complements and integrates with Nia. I don't know. What do you think, Paul?
So, same when I came to first came to the 30-day challenge. Uh, I had my NIA training done, or I was theoretically ready to teach. And as I stepped into class with Irene, I realized I have no idea what Feldenkrais. Like, yes, I had been told what theoretically it was about, and stepping in with her allowed me to embody it, to actually begin to. So the big benefits for me were, a, I felt better, like I was able to reorganize my body, or re-embody certain movements, and not in a sort of a way, but a gentle way. And for me, mentally, to reorganize, I tend to get frustrated learning new movements. And the Feldenkrais paradigm has helped me shift to enjoying the healthy benefits of a brain learning a thing. And so I've been able to reframe my experience of learning movement patterns generally. So I'm very much looking forward to a longer workshop with her. And if for some reason people aren't able to make it to that, stepping into the 30-day challenge simply for Irene's classes,
Mhm.
especially for NEA folk or for folk who are just looking to feel better in their bodies, it's worth like, I'm not saying that Helen and Elaine and I aren't worth the money, but I would actually say that the classes with Irene are worth the price of admission. So there.
Yeah, no, I really agree with you. And your words of how like shifting the paradigm, I think is really true as well. It's awesome. Elaine.
So many things. And I think Irene's use of the word delicious is she had me at delicious. And what I love about Irene in particular is that her voice is so calming, and they're pretty intimate classes in that you're in gallery view and she's watching. She's like big brother, big sister. And it's not in a critical way. It's like, Paul, Elaine, take your shoulder, really sense that it, like, she drops me right into my body. And that's what I love. And the movements afterwards, I feel like I've had this full body massage. And yet the focus could have been just on the shoulder girdle. And when I'm done, my whole body feels refreshed. And the other thing I love, I did her workshop last year, and I try and take as many classes in the recordings as I can. I'm not available on Wednesdays. I think her workshops, they're good for 3 days on the recording. So it's a little different than a regular 24-hour, a generous 24 hours, but you get it for 3 days. So, yeah, Feldenkrais is a beautiful, I feel like Paul, I didn't really know very much about it until the 30-day challenge and meeting Irene. So, highly recommend.
Yeah, it really is a lovely way of saying it. We might have a like a cognitive understanding maybe of what Feldenkrais is, yet Feldenkrais in some ways is so um, personal and intrinsic and subtle that even if we kind of cognitively understand it, for me, it's one of those great examples. There's a huge difference between cognitive understanding and embodied understanding. And I do feel like Irene is so embodied in Feldenkrais that her delivery with her voice, her body posture, her heart, her knowledge, like she is an embodiment of the work of Moshe Feldenkrais in a way that I feel very safe. I feel super supported. I feel I'm in the presence of brilliance, wisdom, and knowledge. And that links with what you were saying, Paul, of like, yeah, I mean, I think a private session with Irene on the hour is probably something like $160. So if we do the math on this, it's like, wow, I'm in the presence of this brilliance and this wisdom, yet such a caring, loving soul who sees you and cares about you. And so for me, that's always also like, this is beyond Feldenkrais. Irene inspires me of how to be a teacher, how to be a leader, and how to be a human on the planet. Like I'm like, I want to be like Irene when I grow up.
Me too.
I feel that way. Like I've been with her now for like more than 2 years, and like what you see is what you get. And she really is that in integrity and authenticity and heart and not a wrinkle on her face. She's so youthful. She still does ice skating performances, and she can come to a near class in her roller skates and her helmet. I mean, I think anyway. So I could go on and on and on about Irene, but I agree with y'all that yeah, what a delicious way to go into the new year. And actually, our Feldenkrais classes during the week are they're different to the near classes. We need on copyrights for the near, there's Joe, to do 24-hour replays. But even in the 30-day challenge, Irene's classes are good for 3 days. And the workshop is definitely good for 3 days, maybe a little bit more, which I think is very generous. So the actual workshop is Central Time, January the 14th, and it is 12 till 3. But anyone that can't make that, they can enjoy the experience on the replay. And on the replay, we offer the gallery view and the speaker view. And so that means you can be as if you were there live, in that you can glance over your shoulder and look to your screen and see what other people are doing, which is more like the real experience if we were all in the same room doing Feldenkrais together. And a Feldenkrais experience, whether it's the workshop or the class, the teacher is providing their visual cues and you're not following the teacher visually. Instead, you're moving intrinsically and exploring your body's way of doing the movement that Irene is inviting. And like Elaine said, like, and yet she is watching and she will coach the movements if maybe you haven't quite got the right idea yet.
I want to go. Sign me up.
Me too. Paul, anything else?
No, and also just to piggyback off what Elaine was saying, that it also fascinates me her ability. So if you're working with your shoulder girdle, she may have you noticing your calf. Does your calf engage? It has allowed me to expand my understanding of my body as a system, as everything being interconnected, rather than that sense of, oh, I'm just working shoulder girdle. It has really allowed me to just have a more integrated sense of my body as a whole system.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, everything truly is connected. I remember my first Feldenkrais workshop experience when I was a white belt. I'd invited this teacher in and we're on the floor and I'm in the place of like, what is this? Like I'm just like this, like, oh my God, I had people pay money for this. Like, this is going to be terrible. I had all this stuff going on. And then I woke up the next morning and I felt like I had had the best body work in my life ever. I felt like I was floating. I had so much reduced pain, and also like I felt like a deer that I could just like, I perceived that I could just like jump over a fence. I felt that agile and alive, and noticeably like the chronic pain that I was in was like gone. I'm like, now this is amazing. I need to do more. So yes, my first Feldenkrais was like, this is it. I mean, basically
Mhm.
Feldenkrais is like what, 80% we're just lying on our back doing very small, curious things. And then we rest and let the body recalibrate and go again. Yes, small, curious movements that create new neuron pathways. Fascinating stuff. Yeah. So if people are in pain, it's really good. And I definitely think anyone that's a near practitioner is to have a pure experience of each of the nine movement forms is highly recommended. And Feldenkrais is like all you need is one session with Irene, and you really will have an embodiment and understanding, much better idea of what this movement form is that we integrate into Nia technique. Well, thank you both for sharing. I loved your shares, and I like that you like me. It's like Irene's great, and we're really so lucky that she's on the team
We're
doing
just
that.
loving on Irene. We're
I
just,
love
yeah.
all the love.
Can't wait. So, 14th of January, hope to see you there. Thank you.